Good morning, guys. It's August 28th. Oil sending unit on an 09 Chevy. If any of you know, it's way back in there. Getting the plug off is just about as hard as changing it. I've been in it. I've been in that sending unit before and changed the screen. There's a screen underneath it, but anyway. Yeah, it's 74 degrees, pretty humid this morning. We did not pick any corn yesterday. We didn't pick any corn yesterday. Ground's a little bit wet up here yet. You go down south and the corn's still green over on the river, which is a good thing. Everything around here's that we have, other than the 35 acres over here, is done. So we probably lack 2 days of picking, 2 hard days of picking. But anyway, the comments on the last video, I mean, there's some good comments, guys, and I appreciate it. But, man, you always get that one or two idiots that just, they don't know. They don't get it. I don't know how they vote, but I can pretty well guess. Anyway, without getting too political, some guy saying I should get a job off the farm. I have my own machine shop that I've run for 28 years that has supported my family. Worked in a machine shop. When I was 18, I was a supervisor in a machine shop after I worked my way to the top. Then I left there after 5 years and went to Raytheon Aircraft running a CNC mill, big horizontal mill. Did that for years while I run my shop, working third shift up there, getting 3-4 hours of sleep. And I don't need to explain myself. I don't really care. I wanted to explain myself, but I don't need to. I really don't even want to. I'm just letting some of you guys know that maybe read this comment. This is not a handed down farm by any means. I started this with an N6 Gleaner because I was 5th generation farmer and I wanted to farm. Bottom line, I wanted to farm. So I bought an N6 Gleaner and I started custom cutting. Had nothing to cut, but thought maybe, you know, I could start that way. That's how I started. An N6 Gleaner with absolutely not 1 acre under my belt. And now, you know, this is all rented ground. I don't own any farm ground. I own the place where I live. It's all pasture. Everything else is rented. My little brother owns a little bit. There's some family ground that we farm now that it's not a lot by any means. But anyway, so I worked up there at Raytheon and ran my shop. At one point, there was 4 of us working in my shop. About killed myself a couple times coming home early in the morning because just couldn't stay awake. Got up one morning and told my wife, well, one morning, being going to third shift, I told her, I said, I'm done. And she looked at me and said, what do you mean? I said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm quitting tonight. I'm not giving 2 weeks because I might change my mind. I'm going up. I'm telling everybody I work with I'm quitting in the morning. That way I can't change my mind. That's exactly what I did. Went to the boss, tossed my badge on the desk, said, I'm done. Well, let's talk about this. Because as you know, farm ethic kids in an environment like that, it's easy to shine. And I shined. Not bragging, but I worked. That's all I did. All you have to do is go do your job and you'll shine. So anyway, I quit. I come home, went to work. That year we did well, very, very well in the shop. For all the time my kids were growing up, that's all I did was run my shop, do a little bit of custom work on the side, and enjoy my kids growing up. Very, very fortunate. I was very fortunate. Made that work. That's what I'm doing this morning. I'm out here, well, I'm working on the pickup, but I will work in my shop. And won't be long, hour and a half. Economy is terribly slow. I don't know if I should say anything or not. I own a company. I built it literally from the ground up, called Safely Ride Manufacturing. I build training wheels for 50cc motorcycles, mid-mounts. Worked on patents for adjustables for years. I designed the adjustable, mid-mount adjustable for the CRF 50. And that was all come out of this shop. We, at one point, were selling thousands and thousands of sets a year. The economy today, sometimes it's not even worth me coming to the shop. The farm has taken over. Most of my revenue now is off the farm. My wife works off the farm. She does very well. So this farm, I mean, we're decent sized, and we still run old, paid-for equipment. We could go in debt and get nicer equipment, newer equipment, but like years like this, those guys are screwed. The stress level is high enough where I sit and how I sit, and I can't imagine being stupid in debt at all. So anyway, for old Mike on there, you don't have a clue, bud. Keep your mouth shut if you don't know what you're talking about. Don't assume. People that assume are ignorant. You don't assume anybody's background. You don't assume how hard they work. You don't assume I get in a $100,000 combine. Those R62s, $20,000 all day, $25,000 all day long. I've had that R62 for 10 plus years. When I bought that R62, I gave $55,000 for that thing, and that was a lot of years ago when it had no hours on it. I've run it all these years, just trying to get caught up, stay ahead of the game, I should say. But anyway, like I said, not that I need to explain myself. Oh, then you go and getting a $60,000 pickup. You saw me changing a little Cindy. That's my pickup. 2009. Paid for. Chevy. If you keep stuff paid for, number one, you're not paying interest. You're not working for someone else. Interest is working for someone else. You have a bad year, nobody can rattle you. You can rattle yourself. I mean, if corn, and they said, he said, I was whining. I'm not whining. These are factual numbers. I don't give a rat's ass what Mike thinks, other than his ignorance is making me address it. And I guess this is how he gets his little bit of fame. He can't have a YouTube channel, or, you know, can't put his face in front of the camera. But if you assume on anyone, you just don't know. Is there a lot of 5th, 6th generation farmers out there that have stuff handed down? Yeah, you can go to YouTube and see it. You can go to YouTube and watch it. I don't degrade them. Great. They grow 200, 250 bushel corn. And so anyway, what I was getting at was, if we grew the mediocre crop that we grew today, or this year, if we grew that crop last year at $6, it's not a problem. We make our payments on our seed. Well, we pay off our seed, chemical, fertilizer, that stuff. We have money to possibly put into the economy. Maybe a better planter, maybe a newer tractor. We don't have it. Not at $3.89 it is this morning. I did contract 40% of mine at $4.05. Looks pretty smart today, but that's about what I felt like that I had to sell in order to keep from paying a bunch of interest on seed and stuff. But anyway, no, I just dude, if you don't know, keep your mouth shut. Well, fellas, we're going to try to pick some corn this afternoon, and we need to get down there southeast by Oxford and check that corn. Agronomist, last time he was down there, which was last Friday, he said milk line's just out. He thought it would be 2 weeks. I have trouble believing that, but if that's the way it is, that's a good thing. That corn will be heavy. That's where we lost. Our corn, I did production calculations on it and stuff, and a lot of you guys know that that's a guess. Well, it was a guess this year. We had the kernel count. We had the kernel count for a very good crop, better than last year. And the last 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, most of our farms didn't get any rain. We went from a 90,000 kernel count to 120,000 kernel count. That takes 105, 108 bushel corn down to 75 bushel corn. That's about where we're at. Had a farm up north. Well, you guys saw us pick it. Went 100. They got a couple rains during that time. Over at Oxford, those guys, they can't miss a rain over there. That corn will be heavy. have high hopes for that, but that's the last 2 fields we have. Anyway, guys, I'll let you go and quit rambling. I just, you know, you get a video that goes 30,000 views and 280,000 or 280 comments or likes, and next thing you know, the idiots come out of the woodwork. Later, guys.